Here's a controversial take. AI cold email is dead. I just analyzed 42,000 AI generated cold emails and 89% of them got 0 replies. And here's why yours is probably one of them as well. But here's the twist. The problem isn't your offer. It's not your targeting, and it's definitely not your subject lines. The problem, your emails sound like AI. And prospects can now smell it from a mile away. So look, I've been in the trenches of AI automation for the last 2 years now. My agency has sent over 1 million cold emails using AI personalization in just the last 8 weeks. And roughly 6 weeks ago, something terrifying happened. Our reply rates dropped by 62%. Same offers, same targeting, same everything. So what changed? Prospects got smart to AI patterns. And in the next 8 to 9 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact system that took us from actually a 0.8% reply rate back up to a 4% plus reply rate on average across all of our campaigns. This is the Unilead Framework, and it's the only thing, in my opinion, that is working in 2025 and into 2026. You will learn why AI personalization is now a red flag, the 6 frameworks that bypass AI detection, and the 50-word email structure that's outperforming everything else. So let's go. Here's the cold truth. AI killed itself, and nobody's telling you about AI cold email in 2025. Everyone is using the same playbook. Notice you hired 3 new sales reps. Saw your recent posts about pipeline challenges. Congrats on the recent funding round. Does this sound familiar? Your prospects are getting 200 plus emails per week that all start this way. These prospects have developed what I call personalization fatigue. And to put this to the test, last month, I ran an experiment. I sent 10,000 emails using traditional AI personalization methods, ChatGPT-5, deep research, multiple signals per email, 0.78% reply rate. And then I sent 10,000 emails, the exact same, using what I'm about to show you, 4.1% reply rate. That's a 500 to 600% improvement. Same lists, same offer, different approach, okay? And the crazy part, the winning emails were shorter and actually took less research and less time. And here's why. AI has a signature and prospects recognize it instantly now. And here's what AI does wrong. It over-explains everything. Something like, I noticed you recently expanded your team by 40%, which typically indicates scaling challenges around process standardization and onboarding efficiency, ... blah, 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 and it continues, right? No human writes like this, right? Like this is a school report. It's not a cold email. It's almost too perfect, right? It has no typos, no fragments, no casual language. Everything flows like a textbook. AI also overconnects dots. It loves drawing conclusions for you. An example would be, a text like, given your recent expansion, you're probably dealing with X, which leads to Y. But prospects read this and think this is a bot. And here's the truth, they're right. And so how do you use AI for research but actually write like a human? That's exactly what the Unilead system does. So let me break it down for you. Core principle number 1 is clarity over cleverness. The most important rule in cold email, if the reader has to think, you've already lost. Look at this email, for example. Hope this finds you well. I wanted to reach out because I've been following your company's journey and noticed some interesting developments in your go-to-market strategy that align with what we do, ... How many words before you know why I'm actually in your inbox or why I've actually sent you that email, right? That's 25 words too many, in fact. So here's the way that we would write it at Unilead, for example, right? We would write, quick one, saw you added a few reps, build something that cuts onboarding from 6 weeks to 8 days, worth a look, ? Same message, 22 words, instant clarity. Put this framework in your mind. Every line must earn the next line, right? Because your email is fighting for constant attention against Slack, Zoom calls, and 147 other emails in that prospect's inbox. And so you need momentum and you need to stand out and you need to break a pattern. And so therefore, short sentences, punchy insights, zero fluff, outperforms anything else all day. And here's another tip I really want. It's a very simple kind of thing to think about, which is before sending any email, ask yourself, if I received this right now, would I reply? And if the answer isn't an immediate yes, then just delete half of it or delete the whole thing and go back to the drawing board. Core principle number 2, value before ask. This is where 90% of cold emails die. They have CTAs like, can we schedule 15 minutes? When's a good time this week? Are you available for a quick call? These are high friction CTAs, right? You're asking a stranger to commit time before you've proven or given any value. So instead, what you need to do is you need to use micro commitment CTAs, low friction. Things like worth a look, question mark, want it, question mark, should I send it? Can I send you a loom? Things like that. Want the breakdown? And look at the difference, right? I'm going to show you 2 real emails we sent to the same ICP, and I will also show you the reply rates across, okay? High friction version. We help companies like yours scale faster. Would love to show you how we helped company X achieve result Y. Do you have 15 minutes this week to discuss? Reply rate, 1.2% in that campaign. Now, Micro-CTA version built a playbook that took company X from 2 deals per month to 11. Same vertical as you wanted. That was 4.3% reply rate campaign, right? That's a 4x improvement. And why? Because want it requires 0 commitment. It's almost easier to reply sure than to ignore it. And so your CTA should require less effort than deleting the email. And that is ultimately your benchmark. Now let's talk about the 6 Unilead frameworks that we put together here. And hopefully this is useful for you, right? So here's the actual system. These 6 frameworks are, in our opinion, designed to avoid every AI pattern while keeping your outreach scalable. Framework 1 is the human first line. AI first lines are typically something like, I noticed your recent LinkedIn post about hiring challenges in Q4 demonstrated, and so on, and so on, and so on. A human first line would be something like, quick one, saw you added a few reps, right? Simple as that. 1 signal, 1 sentence, no analysis. Your first line should sound like a text message and not a business memo. Framework 2 is the structure of an email that we like. So we like acknowledge, contrast, value, and micro-CTA. Okay, so this is ultimately the structure that replaces, in our opinion, traditional AI personalization. And so here's an example of how this could look. Acknowledge, first line, saw you're still posting jobs for SDRs. Contrast, second line, most teams take 90 days to ramp them. Value, third line, we built a system that does it in 12. Micro-CTA, want the breakdown? Total of 47 words, clean, clear, and human. Framework 3, minimalist pain exposure. So instead of saying something like, this typically results in significant pipeline inefficiencies and forecasting inaccuracies, say something like, are you still doing this manually? Question mark. These soft pokes, feel like genuine curiosity and not AI analysis. And they work because they're uncomfortably accurate without being preachy. Framework 4, permissionless value. Give value before asking for anything, but do not make it a research dump. Something bad would be something like, I analyzed your website and found 47 optimization opportunities across your funnel, conversion paths, and so on. A good way of writing this would be, noticed 3 quick wins on your pricing page. Should I send them? Question mark. So limit yourself to 1 signal per email. Any more than that just screams AI. And so framework 5, our whole offer strategy. So what happens when signals fail, right? Because sometimes you don't have good signals, you don't have good research, and that's fine. In that case, you skip personalization entirely. Trust me, it still works most of the time much better. Use this structure, start with a punchy subject line, then body of 2 to 3 lines of pure value and a micro-CTA. That is all you need. So something along the lines of a subject line, 6-week onboarding, arrow 8 days, right? 6 weeks onboarding, cut to 8 days. Body, built an AI system that automates 80% of sales onboarding. Company X went from 6 weeks to 8 days. Want to see the case study? No personalization. This for us still gets a 3% plus reply rate in our campaigns. Framework 6 is about conversational imperfection. This is a really, really important point that I want to hammer home. You need to write imperfectly. Use sentence fragments. Start with and or but sometimes. Maybe don't capitalize letters for some sentences. Cut transitions. Write like you're a busy founder writing on his or her mobile phone. Ultimately, AI writes cleanly, very professional. Humans write messy. And so embrace that mess, embrace what makes you human, and use it to your advantage today to actually stand out. And so here's the 50-word email structure. Here's the exact structure that we use for 90% of our emails. First line is the human first line, 5 to 10 words. Something like, quick one, saw you're hiring BDRs. Second one sentence of outcome-based value, 10 to 15 words. Something like, build something that cuts ramp time from 10 weeks to 2. 3, optional one-line proof, okay, 10 to 15 words. Company X just onboarded 8 reps in 14 days with it. And 4, Micro-CTA, 3 to 5 words. Worth a look? Question mark. That's a total of 50 to 65 words. And here is the part now that makes this actually even more dangerous and scalable. It is the follow-up system. Okay, so here's the follow-up system that actually works. Most people send the same email effectively 3 times with bumping this up in the subject line or following up. They're using the same tone, the same message, and the same framing for 3 emails. That's insane. Your follow-ups need to feel like different emails, okay? It gives you different shots on goal. Think about that. Think about one campaign, you have 3 different emails that you can test instead of one email with 2 follow-ups. So email 2, an example could be something like a different angle. You know, the same thread, but switch your value prop entirely. If email 1 was about speed, then make email 2 about cost savings. Email 3, which you could send a few days later, could be a completely new thread, a new tone, start fresh, right? It could be a whole offer email. It could be a quick story, or it could even be a creative idea. Funny enough, for us, email 3 gets 20% of our total replies. I know most people get it on their first reply. For us, it's actually email 1 and email 3. Quite interesting. Never skip it. And you know, your last email, whether that's email 3 or email 4, I recommend not going more than 4 emails. Is typically a gentle close, right? 2 options, something like, should I reach out to a different person instead? Or should I reach out to insert name of a colleague of theirs instead, if you've done that research? Or, you know, want the playbook anyway, no strings attached. That's ultimately how you want to close out the campaign. Here's something else that works really well for us. We like calling it the creative ideas campaign, right? It's a little bit of a secret weapon. Instead of pitching, give the lead 3 specific ideas for their business. Obviously, you know, things that you could solve for them, and keep each idea to 1 line, for example, right? Something like hi first name, and then just a number. 1, add a calculator widget to your pricing page. 2, automate your demo follow-up sequence. 3, create an AI SDR for inbound qualification. And then below that, I built all 3 for company X. It took 4 days. Which one sounds useful, right? We've played around with this and we actually ended up getting a 4 to 5% reply rate on this. So it's really, really high. This is an example, obviously, if you're any form of automation agency looking to do outreach, right? And so ideas, what I guess I want to hammer home here is ideas are more powerful than pitches, right? They demonstrate expertise without actually asking for anything. And so look, hope this was useful and you got some nuggets out of this. We'll be doing a lot more videos on specifically the concept of running an outbound engine, right? Whether you're looking to build an agency yourself in this vertical, or whether you are looking to do this for your own business, right? And ultimately, if you think about it very clearly, there's 3 parts to this business that are critical. Number 1 is the infrastructure. Number 2 are the leads. And number 3 is the copywriting, right? And so we kind of tackled a little bit of the copywriting today. We'll go a lot deeper there. And then we'll also make sure that we hit on all the other topics as well. So thanks for tuning in. Hope this was useful and look forward to the next one.